hit players. What's up, guys?
I thought you were doing a synthetic impression of an android.
No.
Remember last week when you were like, "Hey, I should probably not do that because like we're losing people in the first 45 minutes because we're laughing too much."
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, I didn't laugh.
I know neither of us laughed.
All right, dead bit. We are back, and yes, once again, your camera's not broke. James put his hair back, so he's back.
He was like, "I don't really appreciate the haircut. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just take glue and just
He pulled a what is it, GTA?
Mm-hmm.
Just put it all back together. Anyways, we're back because we just watched, as in like 3 days ago, Alien Romulus, because we are
Mhm.
now a Alien fan club. We should just start we should be members of the that subreddit.
Oh,
I don't-
LV.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to be a member of the
Right.
fan club, but you know,
but I feel like we're becoming well versed in the
I'm
Alien
learning enough. Yeah,
We're making you the president.
that's fuck my life.
and the vice president. You can't even impeach yourself.
Try me.
But yes, we went to go watch Alien Romulus in true hit play fashion. We did it 3 weeks late because we don't believe in hype.
We like to make sure that
Yeah.
something's good before we actually watch it.
And there was a lot of hype for this movie, I felt like, to a degree.
Yeah.
I think there was a very 50-50 online of, oh my God, they're making another one, and oh my God, they're making another one.
Yeah.
And I think for most of the pre-release, I was in the first camp of, Jesus Christ, another one.
Now, how much of that was because we had been talking about Alien for so long on the podcast?
Not a lot of it. I just, Ridley Scott as a person, I was kind of over him. And then I saw it directed by someone other than Ridley Scott, and I was like,
Hopes went up.
you got my interest.
Yeah.
You got my interest.
Maybe.
So, and then I think I saw that first trailer, which we saw for, what movie was it?
I don't remember
Because
at
I
all,
think we saw it together, right?
but I don't remember what movie it was.
Yeah.
I don't think I was there for that one.
Was it Dune?
Probably.
That early?
Might have been. Dune Part 2. that's what
Twisters?
I'd say. No, not for Twisters.
No, Twisters, because it would the first trailer would have been before Twisters.
Yeah. Anyways.
Because we
um,
saw that trailer before we did our anniversary podcast. On
Yes,
Alien.
that's correct.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
It was, and then I saw the first trailer and I was like, you know what? If anything, this is just going to be something to talk about, especially because Connor hates scary movies.
I was really
So-
disappointed when you said that you didn't want to see it any longer. And I was like, well, we've been doing so much Alien stuff. How could you not?
Oh.
We are the fan club.
Yay.
I was ready to move on
Yeah.
to a different franchise.
Mm-hmm.
We were really milking that cow for as much as we could.
As we
and
should.
We're going to continue to milk it.
Yeah.
We're going to do a
Join us on Friday.
Join us on Friday for Alien Isolation Episode 9. But regardless, we went to go watch it as the brave little men that we were. Watched it at 7:30,
Mm-hmm.
much to the chagrin of Connor.
I believe on the way out, Isaac made a coy remark about why did we watch this in the evening, and I said some very colorful words that I will not be repeating for the podcast.
Yeah, don't be canceled.
Nothing to be canceled for. Just
How did
I
you
don't wanna
guys
bleep
feel about
myself.
this movie heading into it? Both outside of consuming alien media for the past 2 months, and also just as a movie fan.
I was only interested in watching it because we had been reviewing Alien on the podcast.
Yeah.
And talking about
The
it. a lot.
OG one.
I had gone back and I watched Aliens and Alien Part 4, which I had never seen before, Alien Resurrection. I still have not seen Prometheus or Covenant yet
Yeah.
because I've heard that those are bad movies, is what I've heard.
They're very divisive.
Yeah, divisive.
That's what I've heard.
Well, I also watched Alien Resurrection, which is probably also divisive.
black
movie
sheep
too.
of the
Yeah. I don't even know if that movie is still canon.
yeah.
Or
yeah,
not.
yeah.
But no, I was excited to see it, and I'm glad that we did end up watching it.
Mhm.
I don't really fall for hype for movies at all, personally.
Yeah.
So I had no qualms about waiting to go see it
Mhm.
until we all had time. But I didn't know, even after it had after it got released, I didn't watch any reviews for it. I didn't read any reviews. I didn't see any scores. I had heard through you specifically that people were still divisive on this movie.
Yeah.
But I didn't look into it at all because I still wanted my own opinion of it.
Connor?
I was nervous.
I was too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, as we've established before, I'm a bit of a scaredy cat.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys are new to the pod, me and Connor both hate horror, and James loves it.
Well, I wouldn't say I hate horror. I enjoy horror stories. I don't enjoy partaking of horror stories. Like after the fact, after I'm like calmed down, I'm like, these are great, and it's the during that I'm like, this sucks. Yeah, so I was very nervous. I was like, man, they're gonna make me watch this film. I'm gonna be crying the entire time. Isaac's gonna make fun of me. Like it's gonna be a whole thing.
Those things all did happen, by the way.
They did indeed actually happen. But like going into it, like the last couple days beforehand, like after we bought the tickets, well, not we bought the tickets there, but like after we made the plans, I was like, I guess a little excited because I was like, oh, maybe like it'll at least be cool.
Yeah,
because like I was starting to look a little bit more into what people were saying and stuff without outright spoilers and stuff. And I'm like, fans seem to enjoy it. So like maybe it'll be like cool and not like a hawk of crap that Prometheus was. Because I did watch both Prometheus and Covenant before we went. Because I was like,
okay.
I've heard bad things about both. I'm like, so they can't be that scary. And I need to know, like, I wasn't sure if this was a continuation of that plot line or something else. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch these and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And so I watched both of those, and when I finished, I was like, wow, those are movies. But like I finished them off, and I was like, I'm not worried about this anymore. Those weren't scary at all.
Yeah.
I was wrong, dear viewer. I was wrong.
Yeah, I got extremely excited when in an interview, Fede Alvarez, he said that his main inspiration was the game, playing the game. I'm like, I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
And B, he was like, he had an epiphany because somebody asked him like, why did you want to make an alien movie? Like you could have made anything else. He's like, well, I was just playing the game, and then I realized, why don't we just make it scary again? So I was like, he's like, I'm just gonna go make another scary alien movie like the game. And it's like, I mean, when you play the game and then watch this movie, it feels like very similar.
It did, yeah. It felt very much like somebody just was doing like a let's play.
Yeah.
Which I think in true fashion worked out because the entire time Isaac and I were jumping and James was stone cold dead silent.
Okay, relax. I didn't jump. I only jumped once, and that was at the end. That was the only time I jumped.
He jumped a few times.
You murmured a lot. You murmured a lot.
I did mutter a lot. Yeah.
I could see you over James. I was watching you kind of like.
No, that was Sarah because she was holding my hand and jumping.
Oh well.
Yes, it was. I did not jump a couple times.
She's not on mic, but she's calling out Isaac right now.
Yeah.
It's a good thing the mics can't pick her up.
Note for editing, Connor. She said you jumped a couple times.
Anyways, so you guys
Did this live up to the expectations
Yeah.
for you?
I think that's what he asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, I had
enjoyed
after the fact, I really enjoyed that film.
How long did it take you? By the way, as we were leaving the theater on Wednesday, Connor goes, "I'm not fucking sleepy tonight." How long did it take for you to calm down?
I think I went to bed. We got out of the theater at like what, 9?
No, way later.
Was it later?
It was closer to 10.
Oh, I feel like I got home at 10. I don't know. I went to bed at like 11. I don't remember what time I actually fell asleep. I woke up at least 6 or 7 times.
Genuinely, was this movie really that scary for you?
I didn't.
Yes.
Was it for you? No?
Like I said, I only jumped the one time.
No, dude.
I looked away. We'll get to it later with spoiler
Yeah.
talk, but I looked away a couple times because it was just too much for me. But like
no, dude.
physically, like, whoa.
This thing got
Maybe
to me.
like
And I don't think
twice.
the waking up during the middle of the night wasn't because I was having nightmares. I just think that my body didn't
Yeah.
want to relax, and so it wasn't dropping in the realm, and I was just
Yeah.
waking up for other stuff.
It is a very creepy movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It
It's
wasn't that
really
I was,
well done.
I
in
was
that
like
aspect.
terrified more than I
Yeah.
was just like freaked out the entire time. I was just like, oh my
Just
god,
felt like a sense of
just dread. The entire film
that
is
and
just
like
a sense of
I felt
underlying dread.
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
To a degree, which is fitting because
You're on
spoiler
space
alert,
station.
they go onto a space station.
Mhm.
the first thing they do when they go on the space station is they're in that little crack. and I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, I hated
The
that.
second they showed that, I was like, Isaac's not gonna like this.
no,
No.
I did it.
No.
I immediately my brain went to, damn, what if I was in that situation?
Yeah.
I get stuck.
Yeah, exactly. That was my exact thought. I was like, the second I saw that, I was like, we're finding a different place.
Yeah.
Like, we can dock somewhere else. I don't care.
It was rough. What about you? You didn't think it was scary, huh?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
The scariest part was anytime Connor jumped. I didn't expect it.
We're walking out of the theater. I'm dropping every expletive known to man,
Yeah.
cussing everybody out because I was on edge and freaked out.
Yeah.
And James is like, it wasn't even that scary, Mr. Cool as a cucumber over here. You should be glad you got home.
Yeah, thanks for driving, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think this movie was that scary. I appreciate that it was a horror film, for
Yeah.
sure. I think they definitely executed very well on that. I mean, it got to you guys.
Yeah.
There are parts of this film, though, of the parts of the horror of it that I feel like has been done before in the previous Alien films.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah. We can get to there in a little
yeah.
bit, but yeah, it's definitely I read somewhere where it's like the I read like it's the Rogue One / what's episode 6 or episode 7 of Star Wars.
Force Awakens? I
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
It's like the Force Awakens of the Alien franchise.
It definitely is somewhere between like a reboot
Yeah.
and a remake
Yeah.
Mhm.
in a way.
Yeah.
It did feel very like this is just a love letter versus like we're trying something totally new.
All right, so let's start talking about specifics. First one for me is the acting.
Thought it was fairly decent
Yeah.
for a horror movie.
Mhm.
Obviously, I don't think anybody's gonna be nominated for awards.
No.
Or like this is gonna be talked about as the greatest acting performances of the year.
I-
But I think, and one thing that like I picked up on immediately was the emphasis on the crew, quote unquote, the crew
Mm-hmm.
and their group dynamic and the way they all play off of each other. I think is very, very similar to the first Alien, which is probably intentional.
Yeah.
It probably also, is why people say it's, just a retread
Yeah,
of the
retread,
first
mhm.
movie. But I mean, in a horror movie like this, you have to have that because you have to have a reason for these people, whether you like them or hate them, and we can get into specific characters. You have to have an emotion when they go through things, especially in horror movies.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, it was a passing grade on that.
Yeah, I felt that all the supporting characters, the meat bags, if you will, were doing great.
Fodder.
Yeah, the fodder. I think they all did a good job. I think everybody kind of did their role pretty well. I mean, they were all role playing teenagers.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a tough thing to act because like teens are kind of,
Spunky.
yeah, they're all kind of just little silly guys. And I feel like they nailed like just the group of teenagers who are, just like have that what's I'm looking for? That sense of invincibility, I think is what I got. Is a lot of like as they're doing stuff, as they're, the initial setup is happening. I'm like, y'all really just think that nothing bad can happen to you, huh?
Yeah.
You're all about to learn real quick, but y'all really just think that you're all just like top of the world, unstoppable. And I was like, it tracks. They're all like what, 17, 18 looking, so
I think they're supposed to be, yeah.
I think they're supposed to be like very, very young
Yeah.
at best.
Was
I don't
there,
think no age is ever established, I don't think.
was there a standout performance to you guys?
I mean, I like the main girl a lot.
Uh-huh.
Kaylee
fun.
Rain is her name.
Yeah. Girl in Civil War.
Without going into too many spoilers off the top, Andy, the android.
Yeah,
I think
Daniel
he's my
Johnson.
standout. Yeah, he is my
Them two, I think, are really good.
mhm.
For
Yeah,
me, I would definitely say Daniel Johnson. That's
that
Andy.
connection between the two, Rain and the android, I think is
There's
the
a
selling
specific
point.
scene, which we could talk about in 5 minutes, that I was like, is this acting in my horror movie? What's going on here? This is good.
At first, it kind of bothered me because Andy, that is the android, when you first are introduced to him, he sounds like he's going to cry after every single
Yeah.
word, and that kind of bothered me a little bit. I was like, just cry, my guy. Like, come on, you
There's
can let
no
it
way we're
out.
going 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely when his character gets upgraded later on,
Yeah.
and he has kind of a personality switch.
He upgraded. He got XP.
I think he was XP.
Yeah.
They just downloaded a VCL player on
Yeah.
there. But yeah, he was definitely the stand-up performance to me as
Mhm.
well. Now,
Sure.
what about the effects?
Ooh, I'm excited to talk about that. All right.
Go to.
I noticed it immediately. There is so much practical work on this movie. So much of it is practical, and I was so excited.
The first shot you could tell was a miniature, and it looks
Yeah.
so sweet.
It looks so good. Everything looked incredible, and I was just like,
Oh, that's right. You
yes.
guys watched a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, didn't you?
I mean, even
I
just
didn't,
from
but
watching just the
I
film.
could just tell. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's Star Wars.
I say, yeah, I noticed it immediately.
Yeah.
Like there's all the marks. For certain scenes, you can just like automatically spot. You're just like, that's a robot. Like that's a miniature that somebody's just like moving. That's a puppet, etc. The alien itself, you could tell was just a guy in a suit with just digital touch-ups, and I was like, that's what I like to see.
So
I
there's a
don't want-
backstory to this. Fede Alvarez intentionally sought out the VFX workers on the original movie, and was like, "Yo,
Mhm.
come work on this." So it's mostly the original people who worked on the first film, and he had a big emphasis on we need to make it real because we need something for the actors to actually
Yeah.
Yeah.
interact with, and even like beyond the alien and the face huggers and all the scary stuff, even just like the ship, like they're pushing buttons that are real buttons,
Mhm.
and, I'm
And
like,
doing stuff, yeah.
like stuff like that. You're just like, if it was a CGI of like somebody touching a screen, I'd be like, that's
you get the Jurassic
stupid.
World effect.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's stupid, but it wouldn't kill my mood of the movie.
No.
But the fact they went that extra mile where she's actually grabbing a joystick to pilot the ship, I was like, this is cinema right here.
And I think that's why it added a lot of the scare factor to me, because I was like, this is
Yeah.
like legitimate. And like, because like in a lot of like
Yeah.
overly done sci-fi or CGI stuff, you can be like, okay, well, I can see like how fake this is.
Mhm.
But like when you see something physically leaving a mark on your actor, you're just like, I know it's not real, but
Well, the combination of them interacting with real sets and props gives a greater sense of atmosphere.
yeah,
to
it
it.
grounds it, makes
Yeah.
it more. Really, just comes down to movies need to start doing more and more practical
Yeah,
effects.
We've got him. We fully
I've been,
converted him.
I've been saying that before I was on this show.
Nolan should have dropped a real bomb for Oppenheimer.
We have them. I mean, like obviously, there's digital touch-ups and stuff. You can
Yeah.
spot plenty of
Blue screen.
Sure. Yeah,
motion.
yeah,
No,
times
they
for it,
were
but, like-
really in
They were really in
space.
space.
but like, well, I just mean like even on like the the various.
You know that Tom Cruise movie? They canned it. They actually used this one.
But like, yeah, I was, when I wasn't sobbing and crying,
You were
I was-
enthralled.
I was very much like, yes,
Yeah.
this is what I like to see.
Even the and this scene is in the trailer, so it's not that much of a spoiler. But when the face huggers come out and they start rippling along the water, somebody asked, Fede Alvarez, they were like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, yeah, we just grabbed like weights, put them on a string, and just pulled
them
the
along.
string along underwater."
And it made a
He's
ripple.
like, somebody asked him like, "How did you learn to do that?" He's like, "Well, we just did it."
Yeah.
Like we were just like, "Let's see if this works," and
Yeah.
it worked. And I was like, "That's cool."
Well, that's how it's done.
yeah, and-
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like that's what you want.
yeah.
That's what you want to see.
Like something like that is just really cool.
All right, do you want to get into spoiler territories now?
Should we do a?
Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I mean, not without spoilers. I would say, should we do like a soft ranking so people can know if they should see this or not?
I would recommend it to people.
Yeah,
I
just
would
a
give it
soft,
an A.
like, yeah.
If you're a fan of horror movies, if you're a fan of alien movies,
Yeah.
I would say if you're a fan of Alien the franchise, you should definitely give this a watch.
Even if you've only seen the first Alien film or Aliens, I would still recommend seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've only ever seen the first two, so
Yeah, and if you think that the,
or I guess
the
we watched
we
three.
watched three for David Fincher.
Yeah.
yeah, if you think the franchise is just Prometheus and Covenant, definitely go watch Romulus and see how wrong you are.
All right. We're going to start spoiling stuff now.
All right. Spoilers.
Where do we want to start?
Do it ASMR style? All right, let's
Oh,
start at the
yeah.
very end.
What?
Yeah, what
in
the what the fuck was that?
The baby?
I think they called it something because the behind the
Engineers?
scenes. No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
okay.
That's the
It's the
God
people from Covenant.
yeah.
Or Prometheus.
It wasn't the newborn. It was something else. Oh, offspring. That's what they called it.
Offspring.
The snake. The final creature,
Yeah.
the hybrid thing, is
Yeah.
called the offspring, according to the script, I think, or something along those lines.
It's super.
I hated that.
I hated it so much.
I hate it. James, when you ask, was this movie scary? Everything up until that point was bad, but wasn't going to leave me like that stressed out. The final 10 minutes, I was like going to cry.
That was. I mean, when I don't even know where to begin with that thing. Like, because the first time we see it, it's killing the girl, right? Like, it's feeding on the mom. Which,
Mhm.
did you guys pick up on that foreshadowing in the beginning
yeah.
with the pup,
Yeah, from
the picture? It was pretty cool. Anyways,
picture, she's got a cross on, and we
yeah,
never know who
she's
the father is, and
technically
she
the Virgin
births the
Mary.
new.
which we can get into who the father is. I think I know who the father is. Me and Sarah have been talking about this.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't think it's important.
But
It's like-
yeah,
it's
that
like the
thing is
symbolism.
just. I don't. That's like definition of. I told you guys this in the car ride home. It was like creepypasta from Reddit in like
Yeah.
2010.
Russian
That
soup
image
experiment.
is always
When
on
it-
everybody's.
When it smiles, like the first time we see it like at its full height and it smiles, I was like, no, this is like, I hate this. I hate every part about this. I
Yeah.
want nothing to do with this. I'm ready to go home. I was about ready to walk out of the
I
theater.
mean, props for making a creature that could be that you would have such a visceral reaction to like that. But
Mhm.
my God, is that just? It was too much.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic design. The blending of, human
Yeah.
engineer xenomorph characteristics look great
Yeah.
when, you look at it in a sterile environment. You're not like watching it.
Watching it in the dark theater.
Yeah, watching a
Yeah.
dark theater being all
Yeah.
creepy. I really appreciated how little they showed of it too.
Yeah.
Mainly because I imagine the front effects probably didn't look as good as they wanted them to.
It wasn't an actual guy dressed up.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it was. I don't know if that
Yeah.
was a dude or not. Like I'm assuming part of when they do the face, because they very rarely showed it fully standing up,
Yeah.
and you could see the face. So I imagine the face was a dude, and then a lot of the shots from behind were just like puppets or just
Probably.
enhanced. But like it looked great. And they kept it dark so that you didn't have to look at it too much. Unlike the xenomorph, where you want to see them all big and scary and creepy.
Yeah.
That thing you could just like kind of ignore. Sucked though. It's
How
not.
do you think? How do you feel about its death?
It's not dead.
Is it dead?
No, but I mean, like the
There's no way. in
well,
hell.
you
we
know-
didn't see a body.
in universe. You know what I mean, though.
In universe, I really feel bad for the people of that colony world because they just dropped a entire station full of xenomorphs on top of that world, and we established at the start of the film they don't need air or water or food at all. So
Yeah.
if they survive that ring, which they will, they're just gonna crash land and stand up.
Yeah, we never really saw xenomorphs' bodies either.
No, and there was like 100 of them. There was so many xenomorphs, like fully grown xenomorphs.
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here. Speaking of not seeing the bodies, I don't remember the character's name, but the tall guy in charge of the mission.
Call him G.I. Joe.
Yeah, G.I. Joe. He's probably not dead either. We never see his body.
Sir, he got.
We
saw
never see his body.
We saw the blood dripping down.
Yeah, we saw the blood dripping down, and also it's really fast. But he got face punched. He got punched. There was a hole this big in his face.
We don't see the body. I'm just saying.
You think
Listen,
he's gonna come back and be like
Yeah.
the master,
Yeah.
the master
I don't-
alien?
I don't think he's coming
Look,
back.
greater franchises have dumber things.
I guess, but I'm just like
It's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I could see you make an argument for like the asshole cousin who just had some acid spill on him. It's like, oh well, he
Yeah.
didn't really die because like he had like a tiny little hole in like his stomach. I could see being like, oh, maybe he figured it out. The leader boy, homeboy, no, he's dead. He got
Look.
punched through the heart by the tail, and then he got his fucking head bitten off.
We don't see a body though.
You don't need to see a body for that one, Chief.
Look,
I mean, listen. Rule 101 of movies: if you don't see a body, it's not death.
I
yeah,
mean, fair.
Mace
but-
Windu is still alive.
yeah.
I mean, there are what is it? Legends. There are
Yeah.
legends of him like living in the Coruscant
So
underworld.
stupid, in my opinion. Anyway,
But yeah, no, homeboy's not coming back.
so Alien 4 Resurrection.
There is a hybrid.
Yes.
Yes.
Really, a clone of Ripley is used by the Xenomorph Queen to create an offspring.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what was in the back of my head the entire time I'm watching this. That's why when people were saying that this was a quote unquote remake of the first film, I was like, no, this is actually the fourth film. Actually, is what
I
this
saw
is remaking.
I saw a Reddit comment that said this movie had it all. It had the scariness of the first one, the cool laser battle in the second one, and the what the fuck is that abomination from the fourth one.
And I could see them being like, you know what? We liked the newborn because I think that's what the fourth thing is called. I think it's the newborn, and then this is the offspring. They're like, we like that, but it looked bad, and we wanted to make it better.
It looked like a paper mache.
It looked so
freaking-
bad.
Yeah.
So they might have just been like, what if we just take that concept and just redid it?
I don't blame
Just
them
like,
for
what if
doing
we just
that.
make it
You know,
better?
the in the fourth film, the monster is not scary at all.
No.
It looks trash. Its death is brutal. The
Mhm.
way that she kills it is like one of the most unnecessarily disgusting things I've seen in my life. She punches a hole in the back of her ship, so the vacuum starts sucking everything out. But the monster is so big, its body doesn't fit through the entire hole, so it rips out its insides.
It
one at
does
a time.
what should have happened to and multiple times during Romulus.
Yeah.
There's decompression, and nobody's
yeah.
affected by it.
There's a lot of like bullshittery that happens
Yeah.
in this movie where I'm like, no.
Yeah.
There's definitely one too many close calls, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those, and it was one of those moments where, like, specifically when she's climbing up the elevator shaft,
Yes.
I was like, this is just, you've done too much at this point. Don't do too much more. We still have a third act to
Yeah.
get through.
And I think what's funny too is that like if you time it, apparently the final countdown where the mother's like, "Hey, you have 40 minutes until impact."
Yeah.
It's actually 40 minutes of
Yeah.
film,
Of course.
Yeah.
but they definitely do more than 40 minutes worth of stuff
Oh,
within
yeah.
that time
Yeah.
period. I'm like, there was a point where I'm like sitting, I'm like, you definitely like it would not have taken you 3 minutes to climb up that elevator
There's
shaft.
too many, we got to go back moments,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm like, you guys
Fair.
should have given it like an hour. Like,
They did a
You know.
what is it, like the alien loves to do the false ending
mhm.
Yeah.
where the escape is not the actual escape, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over it after 45 years of watching.
I mean, it's just an established, you know,
Yeah, it's just a
trend in
thing.
the franchise is all it is.
Yeah, it just needs to be cut short. instead
I
of the
will
last 10
say I
minutes being
appreciate
lost left.
this, and this is getting into like character motivations. The actions that the characters make sense.
Mhm.
It's not purely like, well, we need this guy to go into this room just because we want him to die. It's
Yeah.
like, well, no, there's actually something in that room for him to go get,
Mhm.
and then something happens in that room that he like does.
Yeah, it plays by the
Where-
good horror rule
Yeah.
of your characters are idiots, but they still have self-preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Bjorn.
yeah, the jackass. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's cool too, because I mean, they made it very explicit when Rook, played by the late great Sir Ian Holm, is like, humans are too emotional, and then the very next scene is him taking his girlfriend that got impregnated by the xenomorph or the facehugger
Yeah.
onto the ship with the guy's pregnant sister, and you're like, my guy. And there's like a lot of instances of that, of human emotion
Mhm.
taking over. Like when she goes back to save the android, anybody else in the situation would have been like, yo, that's a
Yeah,
literal
RIP.
like walking microwave. Like,
Yeah, like
don't trip.
whatever. It's no big deal.
But because she had that
True.
emotional attachment to him,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it makes sense why she went back. I kind of hated it, but it made sense.
What did you think of Rain as a main character? I don't think that she should be compared to Ripley.
No,
No.
Ripley's the goat.
Well, not just that, but like these are different movies anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Ripley's
yeah.
not even mentioned in this film. But just as a main character in a horror film, it's one of those things where sometimes you want that main character to have like a better sense of like they're the person who is like trying to survive and trying to get out.
Yeah.
And I feel like she didn't have that at all. In my
Not until
opinion.
the end, at least when her boyfriend died.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But before that, it's like she's almost just like trying to get killed, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a handful of times where I was just like, where like as much as everybody had self-preservation, there was also a lot of really stupid shit they all did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like when right before they walk through the scene with all the face huggers, and they're like, don't make any noise.
Yeah.
Why did you not turn off your communicator?
And then he immediately like starts trying to tell her like,
Yeah.
hey, do this.
I would have just
Again,
casually
I made
reached up.
sense.
Beep, beep.
Well, I mean, it's a sister.
I know, but like,
It's a sister.
you can't do anything for her dead. Like,
I mean, she was gonna die.
I
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
they were dumb, but they made sense why they were
Mhm.
dumb.
No, I know. It's just like I was just, what are you doing?
I mean, that's just the horror movie trope: is you have to write characters who are
Yeah.
driven by
Oh, absolutely.
emotion.
And
Yeah.
because also like
transformation.
the universe is big. Nobody knows about Ripley and
Yeah.
the original Xenomorph.
Which
Yeah.
I think they
So,
did
like-
a great job also of having these characters be knowledgeable but stupid about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, we had moments where it's like, okay, the characters kind of have an idea what this thing is, but, like, if something came out of nowhere, grabbed James's face, and held him for 10 minutes and we got it off, my first thought process wouldn't be, oh, yes, it's implanted an egg that'll burst out of his chest in another
Yeah.
10 minutes. I'd be like,
Yeah.
maybe he's poisoned? Like, at worst? Like, maybe it tried to, like, suck his air out? Like, can you breathe? Like,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be like, oh, yes, chest burster. Like,
Well, okay. Also, in that scene when the girlfriend got face hugged, Rook explains what's happening.
yeah, but like he doesn't say it in a way that I think any of them really process, because he's just like, oh, it's gonna kill her, and
It's
he's like,
60-40.
yeah, he's like, she's gonna
Yeah.
die, and nobody like really like, he's like, she's gonna be that, and they're like, but how? It's like all he had to say was like, that thing implants an egg, her chest is gonna explode, and then 15 minutes later, you're all gonna fucking die.
Okay, to be fair, it was Rook and not Ash from the original film.
True.
Yeah, Ash would have been like,
Ash would have been
Whatever.
like, yeah,
Mhm.
good luck.
Ash was a ruthless.
Good luck,
Yeah.
have fun. Yeah, have any other thoughts on the characters?
I mean, going into spoilers about Andy and stuff and how his character changes, I thought that was just really well done. I like playing with
Absolutely.
I like movies and shows and stuff that play with androids not actually having true sentience, in the
Yeah.
sense that you can easily overwrite them. And so I thought that was just cool, because like we get a bit of a build up to like, okay, maybe something's wrong, and when they have that reveal of like, yeah, no, you're, I do what's best for the company now, it was just like sick. Like you're like, hell yeah.
I do,
Even the person helping us is also out to kill us.
Yeah.
Sick.
I definitely think, the number one rule when it comes to writing, whether you call them androids, cyborgs or like
Robots,
artificial
et cetera, yeah.
intelligence, whatever. The number one rule to keep in mind is that whatever their orders are, they will follow to a T.
Mhm.
And I think that they did that really well in this
Yeah.
film, is because you could have had that moment where like he, wants to do what's best for the company, and then at that moment of crisis, he manually overrides.
Yeah,
And
which
he's
a lot
like,
of people
"No,
do, and it's
I
such a
won't do
cop
this."
out.
And it's
yeah.
like, no, like she has to convince him your survival is what's best for the company. Okay, actually, by the way, see ya.
Mhm.
I appreciated that at the very
Yeah.
least. And it helped that his personality was very different when he had the different chip in.
Yeah.
And to me, that was what made him the best character, just
Mhm.
because of Daniel Johnson's acting.
For sure.
Although I will have to say this, some of those British accents were a little
Oh yeah, they were a little rough.
too thick for me.
Oh, isn't it, Bobby? You gotta put that on the skills there, mate. You do that. What the? George Russell?
I'm like, are we gonna get subtitles for these guys?
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
That
it was a little crazy when the
it's the,
Xenomorph had one too, but like, I mean, hey, whatever.
It's like from District 9 when they put subtitles on the the Ugandan warlords. or
Oh, on
whatever,
the
Nigerian
Kenyan
warlords,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. It feels slightly offensive, but also much needed. Thank you.
Yeah. I also, a moment where I remember looking back at it, where I was like, hold up, was that they revealed that there's like, I mean, God knows how many Xenomorphs are on that ship, right? How did they go the entire time up until that reveal, and not a single one was like, oh, there's people on the ship, I should go killing?
What if
That's a
they're
big
taking
ship.
turns?
Could have, yeah.
The ultimate life form.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that's their whole shtick, is that they're the ultimate life
Because we don't
form and
know
the
it's
ultimate
just
hunters.
that xenomorph, right?
True.
Do we?
Maybe it was. No. It would explain why it's catching up to them so fast.
I feel like you could definitely, and this is extrapolating an argument into the film, which
Mhm.
I don't usually like doing,
Uh-huh.
but like think about bugs or
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
guess like
Like you'll find like one spider or one roach, and that'll be all that you see all day long. But like if you go looking for them, you'll find the colony.
that's true. I guess they may not have just they might have just been like chilling and being dormant, but like
We as far as we know, they're parasites. They're not they're not a hive mind,
yeah.
So it is what it is.
That is what is the study of bugs?
Entomology.
Entomology.
Yeah.
101.
I don't think the xenomorph's a bug, but
You're
Fair
welcome for that.
I will say this though. The acting gets better when they are in space and on the space station. The
Mhm.
first maybe 10 or so minutes
my
of this
God, it
film
was
was
so
very
bad.
rough.
I felt like I was watching The Breakfast Club.
I know, right? Dude,
I felt like I was watching
Like when
teenagers.
when Rain and Andy walk in and they're all sitting around like super cool poses, I was like, "What is this? Like, what are we
Yeah.
watching?"
the thing that made me like the very start was like, wow, this movie's gonna suck. Was that our first shot after the super cool intro of
Yeah.
seeing like the alien carcass cocoon
Yeah.
thing? I mean, like, wow, this is gonna be super dope. Our next shot is like, okay, they're on like a planet. This is nice. Oh, okay, maybe it's not this nice.
Her
You know,
waking up.
Her waking up. That's kind of weird. Whatever. Like, it's like the cryopod
Classic
sequence.
student short film.
Yeah.
And then immediately like, hey, you want to hear a bad joke? Let's say bad jokes with no context for like 5 minutes. And I was like, I appreciate bad jokes. I love a good bad joke. But like context.
Yeah.
Anything to explain why this,
It's called in medias res. That's what it is.
yeah, and it's immediate bad when it's done poorly.
God damn it. Oh, that's a one-liner for sure.
That's the zinger I'm never gonna use again.
My favorite scene, I think, in terms of acting, was when the Virgin Mary is in that room
Mhm.
and she's face to face with her brother and Rain and Andy, and Andy's like, "Yeah, I'm not opening that door," and they all start like flipping out. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that feels like a real flip out. Like that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
could-
That felt
you felt
legit, yeah.
scared for all of them."
Especially after she gets whipped away and the
Yeah.
brother's just like he's still banging the door. He's like, we just have to open the door. Come on, we just gotta open the door, guys.
He's
I'm like,
I'm
that's
just-
shock.
He
Like,
literally
that-
just goes, I just have to go get her. Like, just
Yeah.
open the door. Let me go get her body. I'll come back.
yeah, like it's that's a good.
Yeah,
That's what shock is like.
it was a good scene.
It was a good scene, yeah. And I mean, even I feel like without Andy being like, I have to protect myself from the company, it was
Yep.
also just the right choice.
Yeah.
When-
That's
when-
Well, that's the thing. That goes back to humans are too emotional
Yeah.
sometimes. It's, that is objectively the wrong decision
'Cause
or
I-
the right decision to make. It's just it resulted in the death of their friends.
Because I do think that was probably one of the scarier xenomorph scenes. Wasn't necessarily like just that one pullback where she's like screaming at the door and like, come on, open up, and
Yeah.
you just pull back and you just see it sitting there, and it's just watching her. And you're like, this thing could kill her in a second, but
I've
it's
been
so
there.
Because
clearly intelligent.
Andy goes, it's waiting for us to open the door.
Yeah,
So we get
exactly.
all of them.
I was
I know
like,
that's what I was like.
immediately went, oh, he split Alien Isolation.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. That is such a good shot of like
Yeah.
why the xenomorph is such a scary monster
Because it learns.
because it's so intelligent.
Yeah.
And so like that to me, like that was my most like, oh, fuck.
Is the xenomorph in the room with us right now?
I hope not. No, I'm gonna walk away and there's gonna be a little bit of slime I don't notice. I'm just gonna yoinked.
All right, where do you think the franchise goes from here?
They're definitely gonna make a sequel to this.
Definitely.
It ends the same way the first one does.
Mm-hmm.
I think intentionally.
Yeah.
She even says, "I'll fix you to Andy," which is like 100% they're setting up a sequel.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna do a sequel. Because she still has the black goo,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that was like the black goo from
Mhm. From Covenant.
but they kind of make it sound like the science android, did something different to it and made it into a new compound.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like,
Mhm.
if it's the same thing or if it's the same black goo from Covenant or not.
It's this.
Um,
They're they're
'Cause, like, they
were
found it.
delivered the goo
Mm-hmm.
and they're like messing with it. Is
Yeah.
what the story is.
That's the starter concept, but the
Yeah.
vials that she has, he makes it sound like that's a new compound that he synthesized.
Yeah.
So I'm like curious to see where they go with that, if anything. They could just be like, "Hey, you
But
want
we
to
know
watch
it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, it did.
Or maybe it does work.
I say that.
My
the
favorite part
intended
was
effect.
when Rook
Yeah.
goes or Andy goes. Humans share 25% of DNA with rats,
Yeah.
and it worked on the rat. And I was like, Hold up. Can we just sit down to do that math real quick? You're saying a 1 in 4 chance,
Yeah.
basically, more or less. It's like a 1 in 4 chance of this working.
I also appreciate this was definitely a movie moment. They walked into this lab and they're like, look at this thing. And you could see the monitor, what it does to the rat. And like later, it pans out and you can see the rat all messed up. Nobody saw that in the lab.
There's a lot of okay. This movie definitely takes advantage of. It shows you things that characters don't see,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which I don't always personally like, at least especially in horror films, because I feel like it kind of ruins the suspense a little bit. Where it's like, when they show us the face huggers before the characters do, to me that kind of ruins some of the suspense. I don't know if you guys feel differently, but a lot of those moments where it was like, the character isn't looking in that corner, so why are we? Oh, there's a xenomorph there.
Mhm.
Why did we even have to see that there?
I
you know?
think if this was the first ever movie of an Alien series, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what they do now is because I mean we've been with this franchise for 45 years. The thing is, I mean, we talk about it with the game where it's
Yeah.
like you went an hour terrified because you knew the xenomorph was gonna pop out and it didn't.
Mhm.
And the fact that we were still scared that first hour is like says
Yeah.
a lot. So I think he did the same thing with the movie where it's, hey, these people know what these things are, so I'm gonna show them to you,
Mhm.
even though we're not really supposed to show them because the characters aren't looking over there. I think it helps with the like dramatic foreshadowing of, yo, they're fucked.
I did appreciate that this movie wasn't just watching people get killed by the alien because
Yeah.
it's fun.
Well,
It is fun to watch them get killed.
But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
sometimes,
no.
like you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
like the, compared to like Halloween Kills.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
It
that
wasn't
scene
Halloween
in the,
Kills.
what was it? The fire station or the police station?
Oh, in Halloween Kills.
Yeah, when he first gets there,
Oh, when he
He
like
just, like,
in the gas
starts-
station.
or
Yeah.
like in the first scene when he comes out of the house, he kills all the
Stupid.
firemen.
Um,
What a
Stupid.
dumb movie.
what was I say? Yeah. So I mean, like, for me, like a lot of that, because like you might not remember this, James. When they panned over like right in the cryo sequence, the very start, they pull the cryo and like, oh, like my hand or whatever, and then it pans over and it shows the face huggers.
The frosting.
I was immediately like, oh, like I made a noise. I was like, no.
I
And
mean,
that's what
it's
'cause-
dramatic irony.
Well, yeah, and it's designed. The horror isn't designed to make the character scared. It's designed to make you scared.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So, be like guys are saying, we all know what these are now. So as
Yeah.
soon as I saw that, I wasn't like, I wasn't like, oh well, there goes. They're all gonna get killed by a facehugger. I knew they're all gonna get killed by the xenomorph when I stepped into the theater.
Yeah. No, obviously.
So it was more of just like I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of facehuggers. Like, it was, that was what the dread was. Is I was like, oh, this is a lot worse than I thought it
Okay,
was.
speaking of facehuggers, the dumbest scene in this entire film and the moment that everyone should have died is when they turned the temperature up in that room
Yeah.
and then entered that room under the strict rule that you can't freak out and you can't make any sudden noises.
Mhm.
And then
And they do nothing but freak out and make sudden
Yeah,
noises.
they
the
all should have
entire time.
exploded.
as soon as she bumped into the body, I was like, dude, even in the game, you're dead.
Yeah.
You would have heard a distant
There's no
screech and then
way.
you would have been gone.
Yeah. You would just hear dong 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 dong.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's game over.
Like the second, like I said, like the second they had someone off, like how did none of them just be like,
Yeah. And then
Oh.
and then he gets goosebumps and they come for him and I'm like, the dead body didn't do anything to you?
yeah. I mean, I appreciate.
You didn't have a Logan Paul moment there? You know?
Yikes. I appreciated that moment from like a lore perspective of just getting to see how the facehuggers
They work.
work.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of cool when he was like, yeah, they react on sound and stuff. Because I think I've asked you guys before, like when we were playing Alien, I was like, how does this thing see us? Like it doesn't have eyes.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, it sees you from sounds and
I
heat.
just remembered this. Speaking of dumb scenes in this film, after the woman gets attacked by the facehugger for the first time and they turn on Rook and he explains it, they're like, what's it going to do to her? He's like, it's going to do that. And they all turn around and there's that giant xenomorph hanging from the ceiling
Clearly in a
directly
T-pose.
above
Yeah.
us. And I'm like, that's in your direction when you walk in.
Because that to me was the same thing as the rat thing, where I was like, it's like prominent. Like
Yeah.
when you look at where it is in the stage, it's very prominent. There's
a-
no way you miss that.
There's a distinct lack of like spatial direction in some of these.
Yeah.
Especially at the end when she blows out the cargo bay
Mhm.
and there's just a solid like 30 seconds where you just don't see what's going on. you have no sense of what direction you're looking in.
Yeah. I was gonna say it does encapsulate something that I think is a part of the human condition that not a lot of people think about. Nobody looks up ever. It's a very common thing. Where just think about how often in a day you actually like are looking up for anything. A
Watch
lot of
your
people
heads.
just don't look up.
Yeah.
That being said, they definitely would have seen the xenomorph carcass.
Yeah, they definitely would have seen it. Yeah.
Um,
They also are from a mining colony working probably on cranes a lot. I wouldn't
Yeah.
guarantee it. First rule of working on cranes, always watch your head and look
yeah,
up.
Always look up.
So
there
stupid.
was plenty of moments where I was like, come on,
Yeah.
they know better. I would say the gravity thing,
That was cool.
like it was super cool, but again, like they talked about the gravity dropping in the first fucking scene. Like, how do you not have this moment of like, all right, we need to really haul ass right now because we're about to explode when these all hit the ground and decompress the entire station. And she just
Well,
like,
they didn't know.
no, they did. That's what I'm saying though. The first scene that they're at the station, they're like,
Oh, yes, because I thought it was an accident. Yeah, she
No.
intentionally set the gravity
she
off.
set the
Yeah.
gravity
Yeah.
off, and she knows that it
Yes,
clears the
yes, yes,
buffers.
yes.
They brought it up multiple times.
Yes.
And I was like, how does she not have a moment where she's like, okay, as soon as we get to the elevator shaft, feet, floor, fire as hard as you can so we can get up here and out of here because we have like maybe 10 minutes. They were just like, we're going to float up on
Listen,
the...
you're getting chased by like 4 different xenomorphs. I don't think worrying about the gravity is like...
It would have been my first concern.
Really? Mine would have been the fucking 4 giant creatures chasing me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it adds it together. I've been
And the
like, I
fact
need
that
to
I
get
have
out of
like
here.
20 rounds in my gun.
Exactly. I would have been like, I need to get out of here as fast as possible, even ignoring the fact that I got maybe 5 more minutes before this place decompresses. Listen,
Like I said, emotions override people.
true. They don't
It's essential.
they don't talk about it enough in this film, given how much things decompress. Death via decompression is not a fun experience.
I mean, just watch Alien Resurrection.
No, it's brutal. It is violent and vicious.
Should have happened like 3 times.
The final sequence when she throws the acid in the bottom of the cargo hauler, the offspring should have been gone. It should have been as soon as the air went. Poof, she should have been pulled to the edge of her rope. You should have heard like a snap sound effect.
Wasn't she in her suit though?
She was in her suit,
Yeah.
but it was just on the ground. It should have went straight down and just been sucked through the bottom.
Oh, you're talking about the creature.
She should have just been pulled tight.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
It-
that's just
it
not a
should have just
cinematic.
taken her out. Taken it out.
Just not a cinematic.
I mean, it
it
happened
isn't.
in the. Well, that's the thing about it being the perfect killer, though, is nothing can kill it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's resistant.
yeah.
I mean,
it
that
is
happens in
resistant.
the first movie. They blow out the airlock in the first one,
Yeah.
and it still survived.
Well, there's a difference in size there, but yeah.
It's the same creature, though.
No, so I'm talking like if you puncture a. Okay,
You
we're
guys
talking
are
about
getting
physics.
too
Let's not talk about physics.
Off topic.
I shouldn't get into physics.
This is the black hole debate 2.0.
That being said, another small minor thing about physics, I do appreciate that the rings of the planet were a threat
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't think about the fact that rings are just a bunch of small chunks of matter forming around the planet, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
Well, they were
like,
made of ice too. They weren't. Like, it wasn't like an asteroid belt.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was actually exactly what it should be.
Saturn.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really neat. Just when they're like, "Yeah, it'll collapse into the ring," and I was like, "Yeah," because that's just if something is moving at 10,000 miles per hour, however fast it needs to be, to be in orbit, hitting anything, it's gonna bore a hole through it, which is pretty sick. And then also after the decompression, or after she blows the cargo hold, watching in the background, you can see it still falling.
Yeah,
because it's just
that
a
was
massive
cool.
spaceship. That was so
that
cool.
was really
I
cool.
was like, that's sick. That's what I like about space. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
stuff like
no,
that. Like it's
it's
just
fine.
huge. It
I've
takes
never
forever.
seen a ring up close, so I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's real.
Yeah,
Could be alive for all I know.
I've been to weddings before, so
I proposed.
I proposed. I'll say this. So I would still recommend that people watch this film.
Yep.
My first impression of this was that it is a hodgepodge of different, not just alien films, but different science fiction films.
Mhm.
It jumps between Star Wars and Blade Runner
Mhm.
and Alien and 2001
Mhm.
and Interstellar.
The planet was like extremely Blade Runner esque.
Yeah, 100%.
Like she even walks out in a coat, and I'm like, new character.
Yeah. So it's definitely like if you love science fiction, you'll love this film because honestly you've seen it all before.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie.
But it still feels fresh. It doesn't feel like it's copying that makes sense. It's definitely influenced by those other
He does
films.
his own pizzazz to it throughout.
Yeah.
where
It's
you're
a-
like,
it's a
this
love
is
letter.
Still
You know, It-
quality.
it felt like a love letter to not just the Alien franchise, but just these concepts in general.
I
Yeah.
look at it the way this movie is to science fiction what The Dark Knight is to Heat. It's its own take on the genre.
So anyway,
It's not wrong.
Isaac's talking about Heat and The Dark Knight. We're gonna be here for a while.
Christopher Nolan has mentioned it many a time that he was an influence on The Dark Knight.
He was, yes. He interviewed Michael Mann for the
Yeah.
anniversary of Heat. Anyway,
Um,
any
Let's
final
say-
thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just it's a cool film. You know, if you like scary stuff, it's really cool. If you like being scared, I feel like it does a pretty good job. If you're not James,
It's a scary movie.
yeah,
I just wasn't scared.
yeah, he just wasn't
I
scared.
just don't freak out like you.
Yeah, he
do.
just doesn't. Yeah, James's
He's a
freakouts
war-
are him just like in bed at late at night, just staring at the ceiling,
He's
like,
the
what
war
is reality?
For me, the horror is more like, how is it going to be scary? How will they scare me?
Yeah.
There, there are two great scenes in terms of like jump scares in this film, and the first one was when they introduce the offspring. You know, they turn around and it's crawling on all fours,
Yeah.
and there's
God,
just
it was
that like
creepy.
that parasite-esque shot, you know, where his
gross.
eyes pop up under the stairs.
It's just
Yeah,
gross.
it was nasty.
And I was like, that's pretty creepy. That's
Yeah.
cool. And then the second one was after she blows the airlock out and she's like, where's the alien? And then it immediately pops
Yes.
up. I was scratching my face when that came up, so I didn't really react, but that definitely scared me.
That's the one that got me.
was, I think,
Yeah.
That's the one that got me.
And its face is all like burnt
Yeah.
and mangled.
Mhm.
That was cool.
That's a good
I
one.
think that first introduction of the offspring was when Isaac and I both were like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
So we had a moment in the theaters where I said it, or I was like, "Nah." I was like, "Fuck this, fuck that." And then 2 seconds later, Isaac said it, and James started being like,
And then my other one was like, we have to go into the face hugger room, and we were both like, fuck that.
"Yeah." I was like, "Nope, nope."
I'm glad this movie scared you guys.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
After I calmed down, I really appreciate
We're
it.
going to
And
go see
even-
it again.
Okay, I'm done. I mean, I'm not as scared anymore. I know what happens. What were you gonna say?
This is a off topic, so if you want to finish your point.
No, that was it. Yeah, go for it. I don't have anything. I was just waxing.
Kaylee Spaney, main actress.
Mhm.
We've seen her in 2 movies now,
Mhm.
Civil War and now this. What do you make of her?
She's a rising star. We'll just see how far that star goes.
Which movie would you prefer her in?
I really liked her in Civil War.
I'd like Civil War.
yeah,
too.
I liked her. I just like Civil War a lot.
I think I liked that she was playing the leading role in this film.
Yeah.
Which I think is, I mean, she also did Priscilla, I think, which
Yes,
she was the main character in
she
that
was
as well.
Priscilla. Yeah,
I think Civil War, it helps that she's acting alongside Kirsten Dunst
like
and
actually
Wagner
good
Moore.
actors. yeah, Yeah.
She doesn't have to carry the entire weight of
Yeah,
the rest of the
yeah, yeah.
cast on her. But definitely, I definitely think that I did like her in Civil War. But then again, I think her character in Civil War, while she made weird decisions in Civil War, I don't feel like her character was stupid
yeah,
in that movie.
yeah.
I definitely think her character does her acting more of a disservice, if anything, in my opinion.
In this movie,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can see it.
that's just my opinion of the character itself,
Mhm.
who I thought was kind of weak.
Weak.
Did you burp when
just
you
need-
said that?
No.
all she needs to
Trying
do
do
is
a
just get
voice.
a Megazord in the second movie,
Yeah, a mech.
and she's
Yeah.
officially goat material.
She was already in Pacific Rim.
Was she
the
really?
first one.
In the second one, I think.
Oh, wow,
No,
there is
that
no
doesn't-
Pacific
yeah,
Rim
no.
sequel.
Pacific
Okay.
Rim doesn't count.
There's
There is no Pacific Rim sequel.
Yeah.
Boxing say.
I know it does. It's not real.
whatever, you guys. How would you rate this one? Still an A?
Yeah, I'd give it
Yeah.
an A.
It's
I'd give it a solid.
I'd give it an A plus. I think. Mainly because I watched it directly after
I was
watching
gonna say,
Prometheus
how much of
and
that is
Covenant.
You're now an expert in the.
Like, I still need to go
universe.
watch Aliens and the other two, but like, considering in the new Alien franchises, this knocks the other two out.
I
of the
mean, you
park
could
by a
watch
country
Alien
mile.
3, and then we'll just show you every other David Fincher movie.
David Fincher does make some good movies.
It's an option.
But you also don't like horror. And
Well, I
he kind of leans into suspense a little bit.
Yeah, as I say, because
He's a very dirty filmmaker and not in the sense of like dirty movies, like porn, like just.
He lost interest.
The best way to describe his
nuts.
movies. The best way to describe his movies, and I might be stealing this from somebody, is it feels like dirt under your fingernails.
Okay.
That's
Like,
a
that's
description.
Don't
that's
like
the
that.
way his movies make.
Reminds me of Lars von Trier, who said that his films were a pebble in your shoe. I like directors who.
Here's a question for you
bother
guys:
you.
would you play the sequel to the game if there was ever one? I feel like
Can we finish the
have
game
to get
first?
one.
Can we finish the game first?
We have to get one.
We have to beat the DLC still.
We're not playing the DLC.
See, he doesn't even want to play the sequel. He's like, want to play a sequel? Why don't you play the DLC?
I'll play a sequel in like 6 months. I would rather play like, other games.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't play the DLC because on principle I'm against buying expanded content
Yeah, that's
for
but then you get to play as
the samurai.
no, you get to play as Ripley, like the main Ripley,
Oh, really?
the Ripley.
Is it? Is that what the DLC is? Okay, cool.
It's the.
I want to play as Jones the
I
Cat.
think it's basically just the first movie. I think because I think it's the original crew.
Oh, nice.
Cool, that'd be kind
I
of fun.
think. Don't quote me on that. If
Mm.
that's wrong,
No,
sorry.
quote him on that.
Quote him on it.
You can quote me on it. Whatever. All 15 people that watch this are gonna be upset.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bridget.
Sorry for spreading fake news.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Last remarks.
No.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'm becoming more and more of an Alien fan of the franchise. I was kind
Same.
of like half in, half out,
Mm-hmm.
going mainly because I've seen the first two. But I think this and the game have kind of made me
Yeah.
like.
Well,
appreciate
watch
the world.
Prometheus and Covenant first.
I will not watch Prometheus and Covenant just on
I-
principle.
I will say one nice thing for Prometheus and Covenant: the monster designs were pretty sick.
Yeah.
I know people didn't like them because they just wanted to see more of the xenomorph, but the extraneous monsters pretty dope.
By the way, yeah. Closing remarks. Alien. This has nothing to do with that. Alien is low key like a good starting point for most actors.
Well, this is also the second movie we've seen with Kaylee Spaney in it, and she's done.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so there's that. There's Covenant, Prometheus that had like Charlize Theron, Michael Fassbender before they became, household names.
Mm-hmm.
The original had Sigourney Weaver and Tom Skerritt. 3 had Winona Ryder, I think, or the 4th one had Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. It's kind of like Star
Well,
Wars and Marvel in that
a
sense.
lot
isn't it?
of, a lot of.
Well,
famous
Star Wars and
people.
Marvels take established actors and put them into their IP.
Well, I know, but like, there's been.
I'm
couple,
saying
like,
the Alien is like the nexus of.
I think the real argument you want to make is that horror is just a good genre for
Yeah,
establishment.
maybe
yeah, that
that's
might
the
just
real-
be that might be the real
That
argument
might
there.
be
Yeah.
the real argument. Yeah, I'm trying to think of established actors that were in a horror movie.
Jennifer
Like
Aniston
post
in
when they were big.
after they got big.
Yeah.
John Krasinski in Quiet Place.
Like I said, after they got big.
Oh, Emily
right.
Blunt. Anyway,
So if you want more alien content,
that was a good crack.
that was
Thank
a very
you.
good.
Yeah.
crack. Isaac just cracked his neck on camera.
For all the Spotify listeners,
Yeah, it was clean. I don't think it's
You'll
let's
supposed to
become
be like-
ASMR.
You'll appreciate that one. That one's just to sink us out.
Yeah, that was the crack sink.
All right. Well, that was our review of Alien Romulus. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, we get Alien Remus pretty soon.
We could.
But the
That'd be
station
pretty exciting.
exploded.
He's gonna pull a tarot card for some
James
reason.
is doing a reading.
Uh-oh.
I got the Page of Pentacles.
What does that
What's
mean?
that mean?
Pentacles usually have to like they're correlated with like money, I think, and wealth for certain times. And Page is usually like something new to something, so it's usually like probably newfound wealth in a degree. You know, like coming across something like some kind of treasure.
Next time, Connor gets a job finally.
What's coming up, gentlemen?
We haven't talked about it. We got Alien this
Episode
Friday.
9.
We're back in it because we got our new mic stands, so we're
Yep.
all prepped and ready to rock.
We still
Um,
haven't watched Borderlands yet.
We still need to watch Borderlands.
Waiting for it to come out on streaming.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
we're-
not going.
yeah,
on
no.
principle, I'm not
Especially
giving that.
If that's our drunk pod, I want to be able to get drunker as the movie goes on. I want to play a drinking game where every time
That's what I'm
Claptrap
saying.
makes
We'll
a
spend
fart
$20
joke.
on like one drink at the movie theater, whereas we can just spend $20 to buy liquor.
Yeah, I was to say exactly. We could
If you
have a row
haven't
of shots.
seen it, I implore everyone watching this on whether you're on YouTube or Spotify, go to YouTube and look up the trailer for a movie called Red One and tell us whether or not you think that we should watch that.
I don't
know.
think you understand, James.
I don't know
It's
what
not a question. We're gonna watch it. That's the Santa Claus one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, no.
Most definitely, that's gonna happen.
If I get to choose one thing the entire time we go for a year because you guys make me watch all sorts of random crap, I'm choosing
Gonna be
Red
that?
One.
You're gonna
I
use-
want to
okay.
watch it so bad. It's gonna be so bad.
I'm glad we can talk about this movie. I think this movie would be way more enjoyable if it wasn't The Rock as the lead character.
Yeah, it should have been Kevin Hart.
Should have been
Agreed,
literally
yeah.
anybody else.
I mean,
Anybody else would have been
listen,
fine.
I was interested in it just because it's Chris Evans doing something other than Captain America.
I mean, that hasn't really been too kind to him.
Exactly. Which I'm like, I appreciate that he's just doing random shit. He's got more than enough money to survive the
And
rest
so
of
they
his
bring
life.
him back to play like Red Skull.
Yeah, jeez.
He plays Galactus.
Yeah.
God, whatever. What they
He
have?
plays the Silver Surfer.
What is it? Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk now. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
You know that's supposed to be General Ross.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why in the trailer he says if I they
Oh, that's why they're like.
he's
oh,
like, you look different. He's like, yeah, they told me I had to shave my mustache, otherwise I lost the election. I was like, shut the hell
Yeah,
up.
shut But yeah, we're definitely watching that. We're watching Red One, James. You don't have a choice.
Well,
Comes out during Christmas. What else is gonna
no, it
be
comes out
out?
in November.
Yeah, it comes out in November
Okay, we'll watch it closer to Christmas.
when it's on streaming. Again, that's another one we don't have to go see in theaters, but I want to talk about it.
It's definitely gonna be a day one release
Yeah.
on Peacock.
Yeah,
I feel like-
it's either if we don't go see it, I'm gonna watch it, and then around that time we're gonna have an aggregate. We'll have what's the best of the year,
The
and
end
it'll
of the
be on my
year-
list.
The end of the year pod.
Yeah.
Connor will put that number 3 or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it number one just to piss off James.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Speaking of which, if they want updates on our life, aka the pod, where should they go?
Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Hitplay.pod. We mostly just post clips and highlights from our episodes, but that's how you get updated when we do post. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. And we started posting YouTube shorts as well. So
Yes.
you should start seeing those same clips on YouTube as well.
We're gonna make it famous.
if you just want the funny bits, just watch the entire episode because we're always funny. Am I right, guys?
Yep.
Anyway,
All right, I think that's it. I think that's everything. We don't know what we're talking about for the pod next week.
yeah, we haven't really decided
Alien
yet.
episode 9 is Friday. We
Alien
just
episode
did
9 is
episode
Friday.
8 this past Friday.
With a
Let's read
special
the
guest.
Alien books.
Like I said, I kind of just want like a little.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need something fun.
I need a palate cleanser for 6 months. Just give me 6 months.
What's something stupid that we can talk about that isn't Borderlands? Because I don't think it'll be out by then.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, I think. Wait, we're talking about just movie pods.
Yeah, just movie
Oh, I
pods,
don't know.
just dumb ideas.
That's something we'd have to discuss.
Yeah, I was just kind of trying to
2 days.
tease the
We'll
audience.
watch anything. After watching Parasite, we'll take any recommendations.
Yeah, if you guys
Oh,
have
yeah, we
anything
like
you want to see
recommendations.
us talk about,
We've done a couple classic films up to this point. We've done The
Mhm.
Godfathers, Chinatown, Parasite. What else have we shown Connor?
I mean, show me a lot of random stuff. And if you guys want us to see us rip apart a bad film, I think that'd be kind of fun.
Let's watch Speed Racer.
I'm down. I'd be so down for that. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Anyway, let's get out of here.
All right,
That
yeah.
might be the most excited I've seen Connor. All right. Anyways,
Yeah.
we're out. Bye,
All right,
guys. Thank you.